In this video, we'll be looking into 50 Linux commands that a DevOps engineer should know. So if you are working somewhere as a DevOps engineer, just started working, or you are applying for the interviews and preparing for Linux, this would be the right video for you. And I'm not just gonna explain you the commands. I'll be doing the end-to-end demo of these commands. When do we use which command? What are the different parameters to be used with these commands? What are the fields in the output and the significance and relevance of each of these commands. Okay, so yeah, without wasting any time, let's start with the video. So I hope you are able to see my screen. So first we need is a virtual machine, a Linux virtual machine or a Linux machine to do the hands-on, right? I have a Hostinger VPS that I'm going to use, but feel free to use any virtual machine that you have. The only thing is we need to use it on Linux. So I could use it on my Mac machine, but then most of the people following this video won't be able to follow along, right? Earlier it happened as well, like people are saying that you ran all these commands in your Mac terminal. We don't have Mac. How do we do that, right? So that is why I am just using a neutral solution, which is a VPS. It's a Hostinger virtual private server that I'm going to use. You can use that, or you can use any machine over the cloud, or if you have local installation of Ubuntu, you can use that as well. It's up to you. Okay, so this is what I'll be using. So I have the server already running. I'm just going to click on manage, and it will open this particular dashboard, which will have all the details. If you have never used this before, it's pretty simple, pretty straightforward. Here are all the machine details and everything. Here are the root access details, and you can change the root password from here. If you want, you can reboot the VM, right? And I can just do the terminal login from here from the browser, or you can do the SSH as well by creating the SSH keys. Okay, so let me just click on this terminal, and now your server will be running over here on the terminal window. Okay, I'm just gonna clear the screen. Ideally, the first command you should know in Linux is SSH command, because that's what we need to log into a server. Like in Windows, we do RDP, which is remote desktop protocol. In Linux, we use SSH, which is a secure shell. So we have already logged in, so we don't have to do that. But now let's say you have started working somewhere. Our production server is slow, some apps are broken. Go log into the server, SSH into the server, and figure out the issue. Now you have no idea what to look for. How do we look for? So these are the commands that you're gonna start with. So the first command is uptime. Uptime, what it does is it will tell you since how many days your server is running. Okay, so currently it says up 10 days. Okay, that means the server hasn't been rebooted in past 10 days. So this will tell you if there were any security patches applied to the server or not. Right? This is critical. Let's say there are some servers that has not been rebooted in past 1 year or so. So that means there could be multiple security vulnerabilities on the server that needed to be fixed, right? So that's what it basically says. This is the timestamp, and this is the uptime. This says one user. That means one user is currently logged into the server. Currently, I am logged in. If you are working somewhere, you will have multiple user login sessions visible over there. Then that's the load average. Now you will see three different fields. What are these? These are the load average for the last 1 minute, for the last 5 minutes, and last 15 minutes. So that's why there are three. If the load average like is greater than or nearly around the cores, number of cores in your server, that means your server might be struggling, right? So then you need to use commands such as stop, and we'll look into that. But for now, just understand uptime. Why do we need it? Okay. And now what we can do is we can check the next command to investigate the memory. Okay. So memory can be checked from the command free. Okay. So now it will tell you again different things. Let me clear the screen and run it again. So there is memory, and then there is a swap memory. Okay. So memory, this is total used memory, free memory, shared, buffer cache, and available. Now this is not looking pretty in terms of readability. So what you can do is, along with free, there are some parameters that you can use. So for example, I can use free-h. What it will show you? It will show you the memory in GB or GI. This makes things more clear now. So you have total of 7.8 GI memory, out of which this is being used. This much is free, this much is shared, this is for cache, and this is actually available for you to use. Swap memory comes into the picture when overall memory utilization is higher, and then this is some extra memory that your Linux kernel takes, and that impacts your performance, right? So if this is also overutilized, that means your memory consumption is higher. So you need to check into that. Okay. Now there are other commands that we use along with free. There are other parameters that you can use. So instead of free-h, you can use free-m. So this will show you in MB or MI. Okay. So free-h and free-m. Now you don't have to remember all these parameters in any of the commands, right? So the easier way of it is use the man command. Man is used to check any single detail about any command. So for example, I want to check everything about free command, right? So man space free, and it will show you like what exactly this free command does. Displays the amount of memory and used in the system. Okay, then if you go down, you can use different options: -b for bytes, k for KIBI, m for megabytes, g for gigabytes, and so on, right? H again for human readable format, the one that we did, and instead of -h, you can use --human. Same thing. Okay. And then wide, switch to wide mode. If your line is producing longer character, you can use the wide mode, and there are other options as well. Okay. And now to get out of this page, you need to either use escape:Q. Okay. That's one thing. It says over here Q to quit, or you can do Control-C. Okay. So let me just press Q and I'm out of that. Okay. So that was free command. Important thing to remember is the swap is the disk used as emergency RAM. If the swap is high, that means your server is running out of memory. Okay, so you need to look into that. Which process is using memory? Why it is using memory? Are there any memory leaks? So we'll look into that all in the later commands. Now the next is we need to check if the disk is full or about to be exhausted, right? So the command for that is df. Okay, again it will show you the same thing the free command did, but this df is used to check the disk space utilization and availability based on different file system. Okay, so here we have file system, there we have block size, used, available, use percentage, mounted on. Because the way it works is you have a file system. Now you need to mount that file system somewhere. Okay, so for example, you have this file system tmpfs, and you have mounted this on /run. Okay, so that's the mount point. It's the same way when you plug into a drive in your Windows computer. Okay, so it appears as C, but it actually is mounted somewhere. Okay, so this is the same thing. Now along with D, you can use different options. df-hk. What it does, it will show you in, okay, I think this is the same thing, but if you use df-h, it will show you now in memory and GB, like in human readable format. H stands for human readable format. Okay, so for each of the file system, you can see the used and available disk space, the percentage used. So this is the particular field or particular column that you need to focus on. Use space, if it is somewhere around 80% or greater than that, that means there could be some issues. You need to clean up the space by removing old logs or old temporary files, any zip files, tar files that has not been cleaned up, and so on. Along with that, you can use other commands. So df-ht. Now this will show you the file system type as well. So over here there is an additional field which says this is the file system, but that's the file system type. So we have different file system type in Linux. So we have vfat, we have ext4, tmpfs, right? I'm not gonna get into file system right now, but with this additional t parameter, you can have that listed as well. And then there is one important command, which is tf-hi. I is for inode. Okay, this is important. So sometimes what happens is your disk space might show you that it is available, still you are getting the error that disk is full. So you need to always check the inode utilization. For each file in your Linux machine, you will have an inode associated with it, and when it is in higher number, that could cause disk space problems. Okay, so you can run out of disk space, or you can run out of inodes even when you have available disk space. So inode is really crucial to understand. So the next command is top. Top command is used to check the CPU utilization, the current CPU utilization. Okay, as you can see, it's not really giving a good view, right? Because there is a lot going on the server. And let me just zoom out a bit. So you see over here we have first line is again, which shows you the uptime. Then we have all the task information, number of tasks running, stops, etc. Then we have percentage CPU. Okay, again there are different fields in that. So we have the utilization, we have used by system, different things, right? And then this id is the idle time. Okay, this one, this is the idle time. You can sort it by different parameters. So for example, okay, so let's check these further. Okay, so this line is basically for percentage CPU, then the next line is for memory utilization. Okay, and then there is swap memory. And then over here in this table, and you can see it is changing very frequently because this is the real time stat, the command is running. Okay, so first is PID, which is process ID. Each process in a Linux system has a process ID associated with it. Okay, so this is a unique ID per process. Then this is the user from which the ID is running. Then we have few other things. Then we have percentage CPU, percentage memory for each of this process, the time since it's been running, and the command that it is using. For example, when I run top command, it initiated a process for the top command, and you will see it over here somewhere, right? That there is a process, you see over here, top. So the command is running with the command top, and there is a process ID associated with it running with the root user. Okay, now you can sort this table using different shortcut keys. Okay, so if you want to sort it by CPU utilization, okay, the shortcut is P. If you press P key, oh, it says unknown command, let's capital P. Okay, now it has sorted this by CPU utilization in the descending order. Okay, so highest memory is being used by top for now because there is not much memory utilization. It's been fluctuating between different processes. Okay, so capital P is for CPU utilization. Then we have memory, so capital M is for memory utilization. Now 6.3% memory utilization from the OpenClaw gateway. So I have used it in one of the previous demo. OpenClaw, it's the gateway is still running, and that's what is using most of the memory. Okay, now to get out of it, to quit it, we need to use Q. Okay, that's it. We are out now. Let me increase the terminal size so that it is easily readable. Now let's say we need to kill a process. Okay, so let's say I run some process tail-f var, and I just provide, let's say, d message. Okay, so I'm just tailing it. Now if I do Control C, the process will be aborted. But if I use the same command, okay, and if I just add an ampersand at the end of it, so it will start this process in the background. So you will not see, if you click on enter, you will not see the process running. If I clear it, you will not see the process, but the process is still running in the background. Okay, so how do we check that? Now you can just check that process with the command ps-ef, and you can search your command over here in this thing, right? It was tail. So you can just search the command tail, so which is over here, or like there could be thousands of commands running, so you might wanna not do that manually, right? So instead what you can do is ps-ef. Ps is for process, by the way, okay, and ef shows the additional details, the one that we were seeing. So ps-ef, and then you add a pipe. What it does, it takes the output of everything that is there on the left, okay, and it will give it as an input to the next command that I'm about to enter. Okay, so ps-ef pipe grep. So grep is used to search any string in a big string, right? For example, now I've got from ps-ef, I've got a lot of processes and all the metadata. Now I need to search a specific string, which is tail. So what I'll do is pipe grep and then the string that I need to search, which is tail. Okay, hit enter. So now it will only show me that line with the matching string. Okay, what it did one more time, it ran the command, okay, which actually showed this, which will have all the processes, all the metadata like the user, process ID, the root process ID, date, timestamp, and the command, everything it will show. Now I need to search a particular string in that, a particular process. So I've added a pipe grep. Grep is used to search something, and then tail. Okay, tail is the keyword that I'm looking for. Okay, so now I've got this process. Now this is not relevant, it's just some additional metadata. So this is the command that we are actually looking for. Okay, so this particular grep is what we ran already. Okay, and this is the one that we were looking for, tail-f where long message. So if we need to kill that process, here is the process ID. Okay, so what we can do is we can copy the process ID and run kill -9. 9 is forceful kill, and then process ID, and that's it. If I run the same command again, it won't show you anything, and it says killed because we killed that process already. It's gone now. Make sure you are extra cautious while running these destructive commands because it's irreversible. If you killed an important process and that's it, it's done. Another important thing, never run rf-rf. This is the most destructive command in Linux. It will remove the file forcefully. Over here, R is recursive. That means all the subdirectories and all the all the files inside subdirectories. F is forceful. It is non-reversible. If you have backup, that's a different thing. But if you don't have backup, never run this command. Okay. Instead, take the backup of the commands, take the backup of the drive or the a machine, and then use this command to maybe do some cleanups and so on. So we saw top. Now next is htop. Okay, htop works similarly. Top command, it shows you everything in some colored format, and maybe like you can call it a human readable format of top. Okay, showing the same thing. Okay, all the tasks, load average, memory swap, but now it has done some color coding, and let's see if you can run those shortcuts as well. So if I do shift P, yeah, it is able to do the sort with CPU, and if I do shift M, yeah, it did the sort with memory, and you can do that from the mouse click as well, right? So you just click on the mouse, you don't have to remember the shortcut. Let's say sorted by the virtual memory or sorted by the process ID, right? One process ID, one is for the root. Okay, so when you log into your machine, the first process that gets started is the root process. Okay, so if you kill this, I'm not sure even if you are able to kill this, but if you kill this, your system will stop. Okay, it's what boots the machine. Okay, so let's get out of it by pressing Q. Now the next command is vmstat. vmstat is used to check the CPU memory and input output utilization in one compact shot. Okay, so you see there is process memory. It does not give you a nice view, so let's just do this. vmstat 1 space 5. 1 means report every 1 second, and 5 means do it 5 times then stop. Okay, so that's what it is doing now. Let me just clear the screen and increase the size a bit and run it again. Okay, vmstat 1 is do it for the last 1 second and do it for the 5 time, which is the frequency. Okay, so now it is doing this, it is checking all those things. So we have your process details, your memory details, your swap memory details, IO system and CPU, etc. So all the things will be present over here. Okay, now the next is IOStat. IOStat, it shows the detailed input output stat to confirm if there are any disk issues, right? So like you have different devices. Okay, what is the KB read per second, KB write per second? How is your disk performance is there overall, right? So if there is some issues with the performance of the disk, this is the command that you will use. Okay, so it will show you the Linux machine details. There are 2 CPU cores, then the average CPU idle is 99.46, and then there are each of these devices, and uh, I see only one device is actively being used, but it's not, there is no bottlenecks that we could see over here, right? Now you can add some, again, some flags to it, right? So iostat hyphen x hyphen 1, oh sorry, not hyphen, space 1 space 3. X shows the extended statistics with utilization, and again 1 and 3 doing the same thing, report every 1 second and do it for the 3 times. So 1 is time, 3 is frequency. Okay, now it is showing you some additional details. Again, everything is 0 because there is nothing much running on this machine, but this is where you will start finding out the details. Like if you need to just drill down into one single device, if you see any device that is being reported bad behavior, so you can just drill down into that device. Okay, now we have 𝗔_message. So this is the output from the kernel. It will show you all the different system processes and related logs. So this log is the same that we tailed earlier. So there'll be a file present inside var log directory, or you can directly use this command 𝗔_message. Okay, so it will show you all the output of system D processes, journal D, any other log messages, and so on. Okay, now you can additionally, along with it, you can again add pipe, and let's say if I just want to check the last 30 messages, so do that. Oh, not clear actually, 𝗔_message, I'm just typing the wrong command. 𝗔_message. Okay, so that's the last 30 message. Now if you need to check any particular string in that, okay, so again in the same command add another pipe, and let's say grep error. Okay, there is nothing with the grep error. Maybe the error starts with capital E. So for that, add the flag -i. This will make it case sensitive. That means it will find the keyword error, but that keyword error could have uppercase letter or lowercase letter. It will find both. Okay, so that -i will make it case insensitive. Okay, but there is nothing over there. In the last 30 logs at least there is nothing. Let me remove this tail over here, and yeah, now I find some error, and you see it was because we have used -i, it will show you the results with capital E errors. But if I, let's say, remove this -i, it won't show you anything, right? That is why we have added -i to show you that error. Now you can search the particular error that you want to look for. Okay, let's say there are some memory issues and you want to check if there was some process that has been killed because of memory, right? So you can search for keywords like OOM, which is out of memory. So when a process is being killed because of the memory, so you will get the OOM killed error. Okay, or you can do a pipe and kill, or you can search for fail. Okay, I'll show you what each of these is doing, so don't worry about it. So you see we are searching for 3 different strings. Okay, and because we are doing a logical OR. That's why we are adding pipe inside the double colons. But now we want to make sure that these pipes are not treated as string because everything is there in double quotes. So that is why we are escaping these pipe characters with backslash. All right. So hit enter and it will show you if you see any of these errors. So it found a failed error. So it will show the output. Now again with the same, if you use dmessage command along with hyphen capital T, it will show you the output in human readable timestamp. You see over there is this timestamp, but if you use without T, you won't see the timestamp. I mean, this is timestamp, but it's not human readable. It's in epoch timestamp. Okay, and you need to convert that into human readable timestamp. Okay, it's epoch time, which is a Unix time. So you need to go out and search for Unix converter and convert this time. But with hyphen capital T, you will see that in human readable timestamp like this. Okay, and again you can look for error. You can look for like OOM error or any particular error that you are looking for. The next command is _CTL. This is the master log for every systemd service. If you have an app called my app running as a systemd process, okay, so _CTL is something that you would use to check its logs. And like what are the different other parameters of it? So you do _CTL and then you use -u, the app name, which is my app, and then you can search for particular string, or you can just do since 1 hour ago. You can use this thing as well. Okay, there are no entries, or you can just do -f. It will stream the logs in real time. You see the command has not ended. It is streaming the logs in real time. There are some errors, but it is streaming it. If you want to look for some particular error, then you can do the same thing. Add pipe grep -i and error. There is nothing. And if I do this, there is no error, but it was with the failed keyword. So you can just use, instead of grep you can use -grep failed, and you will see all the errors related to it. Okay, now let's see, we need to check the issue at a particular time. You don't want to check the issue in real time, like not at this particular moment, but let's say something that happened 3 a.m. last night. So how do you will check? You will check with the command SAR. With SAR, you can check CPU, memory, and network at a very particular time. So let's say if I use SAR -u and 1 space 3. So what it will show you? It will show you CPU utilization. Okay, so again, it is doing the same thing. With the U, it is showing CPU, and it is showing you all the utilization, system utilization, idle time, etc. And like 1 second ago and 3 times. But if you just do man SAR, it will show you other parameters along with it. So okay, so SAR is used to generate the report, right? So you can add the ending time of the report. You can provide your timestamp from what time to what time you need to find the details, and it will provide you all those details. Okay, and you can output it to a file with -f, as you can see over here, and then -h for the human readable format as well. So let's go out. SAR -u is for CPU. The same way, if you can do SAR -r and 1 3, it's for memory. Okay, it will show you the memory utilization and everything in the same format. And the same way, if you want to look for the network, you can use SAR -dev. Okay, SAR -n dev 1 3. Okay, so it will show you all those things. Again, the network utilization, input, output, and so on, if there are any network bottlenecks or not. The next is systemctl. So if you have a process, if you have a service running as a systemd, you can use the systemctl command. Status my app. Let's say this is the app that has been running as a systemd service. Oops, not this. Systemctl, actually. I missed the E. Okay. It says, let me just remove it and run it again. Now it says the service detail, then loaded this particular file as a systemd service, And then the status is failed, result is exit code, duration is this, exited, and basically the error message. So instead of status, you can use restart or start or stop. So there are different options, right? Stop, start, restart, and status. Now I have restarted it. Let's run status again. It is still showing as inactive. There could be some issues with the app. So that is why it is errored out. Now the next is ps-ef or ps-aux. It is almost the same thing. It's just we are changing some parameters, right? And there is this metadata, but that comes with a lot of metadata and lot of additional details. We can just sort it by, let's say, head or tail, right? Head is let's say head hyphen 20, so 20 services or 20 list from the top. If I say tail 20, that means 20 from the down or from the bottom. So this shows you the top 20 from the up. Now it's not sorted, right? It's random. We can just sort it as well. So to sort the list of service based on a particular matrix, we can use, let's say, ps-aux and then hyphen sort is equal to minus percentage mem. Okay, so this will sort everything with the memory. And again, you can add head or tail in front of that, but you see the list is now sorted. So it will show you the memory utilization, this particular process with this PID, which started on 5th March, it is taking the most amount of memory, and now this command is used to sort it. Okay, the next is grep. We have already looked into grep, but let's say we go down to var log directory, and then there is a file called dmessage over here, auth log, last log. These are all the logs that we can check. There'll be a file for app.log for the app service that is running, right? So to search that, you can just do ls-lrt and look for app.log. Okay, there is no such file or directory. Maybe let's use a grep along with it, app.log. Okay, nothing over here. Maybe it has some additional parameters. cd my app folder. Okay, so now let's see ls over here. What we have app.log, right? So if I have to search something inside this, right? So I can just do cat app.log and then I can do pipe grep and then search for the pattern. So let's say -i error. Okay, so these are all the different errors that it have. Now, if you want to count the number of errors, you can use grep -i was there. You can use grep -c errors. So it has counted it like 267 total number of occurrence of the error keyword. That means these are the total number of errors that it has. And if you want to print the line number as well, so instead of c, let's use -n. So now it has printed the line number on which line of the log the error appears. Okay, there are some cases when you have to find out when you have to print the line after a certain occurrence, right? Let's say if I open this log using less, I'm not sure if it has any unique entry, but let me try to add something in that log file. Okay, let's say over here, I'll add test. Okay, and save this file. Now, if I want to print 2 lines before that text and 2 lines after that text, so what we need to do is just search for that keyword using the same thing, grep -i test. Okay, it will print that line. Now I want 2 line before that and 2 line after that. So grep -i test, and along with that use a2. That means after this keyword print 2 line, and you can also print -b2. That means before 2 lines. So now let me clear and run it again. So now this is the test. So before 2 lines and after 2 lines have been printed. So grep is really useful for debugging, to find out a particular occurrence, to check out a lot of details, right? So make sure you understand different parameters of grep. And once you are habitual of running these commands, you won't even have to remember it. Okay, next is set command. Okay, set command is used to replace any particular pattern with something else. You have an old string, you want to replace it with new string. Let's say you have a file over here, cd opt my app and config app.env. Okay, in this folder there is a file called app.env. Now this file has a hard-coded DB password. It's super secret, but it's there, like DB password. So now you want to replace this with a set command. So how you would do that? Set -n. Okay. So this -n will print the matching pattern. Okay, that's what we did. Now you want to substitute it. So instead of this command, you use -i and s. Now add your password over here. Super secret 123, and let's remove it. Okay. Okay, you need to add, let's say, double quotes. Okay. So now if I do a vi or cat on that particular file, that has been replaced by just the double quotes. So the password is blank now. The same way, let's say you want to change something else. What else is there in this file? We have, let's say, log level is debug. Let's change this to info. So what I need to do is I need to use sed -i s colon the old password, which is, okay, let's put that inside a single quote, the old one and the new one. Let's change this to info, and that's it. And we need to provide the file name as well. Okay, now let's do a cat on the file. Okay, it has been changed from debug to info. Now you can say, like, you can just directly go inside the file and make the change. Why do we need to use the command? So you are able to make the change if there is like one or two changes, right? What if there are hundreds of lines that needs to be changed? You cannot go manually inside the file and make the change, right? So that is where set commands come into the picture. Now the next is awk command. Awk is my favorite because it helps with a lot of troubleshooting. Okay, so this is the awk command. Okay, it has so many parameters, and you will get better at it once you start using it, but I'll just explain you with the simple example. So let's say you go inside the same directory, var log my app. Okay, and inside that, if I do cat app.log. Okay, so let's say if I want to print just 1, 2 and 3, I want to just check whenever the error occurred. I just want to check the date and timestamp, right? So we need to check the first field, second field and third field. Okay, so that's what we need. Okay, so for that, what you need to do is you can just do cat app.log and then add a pipe along with it. Okay, and then just use awk -f. F is file separator or field separator. Now default is tab or space, I think, but let's just add space and we'll see. Okay, so over here you add the field separator. If you have comma separated value, if you have a CSV, or if you have any other field separator, then you add that separator inside this double quote. Okay, and then inside like single quote, two single quote and two curly braces, you need to print the values. So print $1 is for the first one, $2 is for the second field, $3 is for the third field. Okay, that's it. So first field, second field, third field. Now you see it has removed the spaces because this is how we have printed it. So if you want to add the spaces, you can just add a space. Okay, it had add the space. Now you can do that after $2 as well. Let's add a space. Okay, that's added another space. Now, if you want to print instead of like, let's say these things, you want to print the complete line. Okay. So the keyword is $nf. NF, sorry. If you want to print the last element, so $nf is the last element. And if you want to print the second last element, I believe it's $nf minus 1. I think this is in the reverse order. Yeah. Yeah. So 1, 2, 3, it starts from 1, it ends at NF. And then if you want to go from backward, you can just start with NF, NF minus 1, NF minus 2, and so on. Right. So awk is really helpful in finding patterns and looking for the substring inside a file as per their separators. It's really helpful. Now you can do one more thing. You can add few other additional commands along with it. So let's say if I did $nf, which is showing you different error messages. Now I want to just check the unique messages out of it, right? So I'll use the pipe and then a command called unique-c. What it will show you? It will show you the unique count of each of these. But if I remove C, okay, it will show you all the unique entries. But then it has not shown you the way you want it, right? So you need to add another pipe and another command along with it, which is sort. Okay, sort-rn. Now sort recursively, right? Now it is showing you it did the sorting, and I think you need to sort it one more time before you find the unique key. Okay, now it is showing correctly. So what we did over here, you see, that's the beauty of Linux command. You can keep adding pipe and keep appending commands to it. So we did the cat app log. Then we found out the last element, which is the different statuses of the file, like failed process, slow, warning, and so on. Then you have to sort it. Okay. So that it combines the results. Then you printed out unique-c, like the unique occurrence of these, and then you sorted it again. So if I just remove the last command, let's see what will happen. Okay, now it is showing the same thing. It just is not sorted, right? It's in the random order. But this command that we used earlier, it is sorting in the descending order. The next command is find. Find is again used to, like the name suggests, find something. You need to find some pattern, some values. Let's say if I go to /var and I want to search this specific app.log. Okay. So what I'll do is, let's clear the screen. Find dot hyphen type f. Okay. I want to find a file type. If I want to file a folder, then I need to use D. D is for directory. So type f hyphen name app.log. Okay, it found out. See, currently I'm in var log, so it is saying one folder down from there, inside log folder, inside my app folder, there'll be the file app.log. Similarly, you can, if you want to find the app folder, you can just, instead of name, you can add my app, and instead of f, you can write D. Okay, it has found the folder for you. Now it is also important to find different logs and the files that has been really old, so that you can use that for cleanup. Okay, so for that, what you need to do is, let's say you need to find the file that is more than 50 MB. Okay, so for that you need to use file hyphen type. Okay, find hyphen, that means we are searching at the root directory, hyphen type f hyphen size, and then plus 50 M. Okay, it will show you all the files that are 50 MB greater. Now, if you want to delete the file that is greater than, let's say, 60 MB, what you can do is, and be very careful with that. Again, any delete operation, any remove operation is destructive in nature. So be extra cautious doing that. So find, let's say I have my app related file inside opt, my app tmp. So I'll search type f and I search hyphen m time. Let's search for all the files that has been there for more than 60 minutes. Okay, so plus 60, and then use delete keyword along with it, right? It will delete. If there were any, it will delete it. Okay, now if you want to check about the disk space utilization, so there is this command. So earlier we checked 𝗵-HK. This is for disk space utilization per mount, right? Or per file system. Now we need to check for each of the directories or the files. For that we use commands such as du. Okay, now it will do the du in a lot of directories because we are in where directory. So let's say we go inside let's go inside opt. Okay, and we do du my app directory. Okay, now it will show you inside my app there are these files, and this is the size of each of this file. Now you can make it the output pretty by using --sh and the folder name. Oops, sorry, my app. Okay, so it says the folder is of collective size 251 MB. Okay, and if you want to do like inside that, you can use --sh dot, and it will show you all the other files inside the folders as well, the size of that. And --sh star, so each of the folder over here. So we have 3 folders. It is showing you for each of the folders over here. Okay, so the next command is 𝗥𝗏𝗏𝗏. It is used to combine different commands together. Okay, so we have app.log over here, and let's say I want to search errors. So if I go inside /var directory and if I do find dot hyphen, okay, let's do find hyphen grep error. Can I do that from here? No, because it will only do a grep on the output of the find, which is the file name. When you run find command, it will just show you the file name, right? But I want to check the result inside that file name, right? Or I want to do a grep inside the file name. So what I will do is find dot hyphen type, okay, f to get all the file names. Then I would need to do the grep inside that. So for that, I need to use 𝗥𝗏𝗏𝗏. It is stitching those two commands together. Now 𝗥𝗏𝗏𝗏's grep and the message, which is error. Now I see all the error messages. And you see there are some errors, right? Because there are a lot of binary files as well. I want to ignore all the errors. So for that, I can use --dev_null. It will send the errors to the garbage. Okay, now the output will be much cleaner. There are a lot of results because you see there is error keyword in most of the files. Let me just search that inside the log folder only. Okay, so I see all the error related results. Now the next is curl or wget command. This is like what you do from the browser. You are accessing a web page if the service is running or not, right? So if you want to do curl hyphen I http, I have an Nginx service running, I suppose. So I'll do localhost. Okay, so it is saying that we are getting 200 reply. That means server is running fine. 200 is the healthy message, right? There are no errors. Status is returning healthy, right? There are different options along with curl, so you can check the man curl for that. Okay, there are different options, and same way we have wget commands. So wget http localhost, both commands does the same thing. But since we did wget, it actually downloaded the file. It checked like we are getting response back from the server, and it downloaded that index.html from that server. Okay, next command is ss-tulpn. This command is used to check what ports are open, what processes are listening to that port. Okay, so these are all the ports that have been occupied with something. So let's say there are processes being occupied by OpenGlow on port 5353. Then there is OpenGlow gateway on these 3 ports. Then Our SSH port is listening on port 22. Okay, and here are the details. If you see, user is SSHD, this is the PID, this is the systemd process, and this is port 22 has been occupied for that. Parameters that I've added, each of these have a different significance. So T is TCP only, U is UDP only, L is only listening sockets it is showing, P is show process using each socket, and N is numeric port numbers, and that it showed you. There used to be this, like this is one of the legacy command for doing the same thing, netstat hyphen, let's say TULN. It shows the same thing. It shows the protocol, receive queue, send queue, local address, foreign address, and the status, listening, establish, error, whatever, like all the status will be visible over here. The next command is nslookup. Nslookup is used to check if your IP is resolving or not. So let's say if I do nslookup.google.com, it will show you the Google, like this is the DNS IP for the google.com server. So what we are getting from here. Okay. And let's say if I want to check if one of my services is resolving properly or not, then I can just use nslookup for my service. Okay, it will show you because this doesn't exist, so it cannot find this in the annex domain. Okay, so it's not able to resolve that DNS to the IP address. Okay, so this is how we know if our DNS is working properly or not. Now for the server IP, we use the command IP addr show. Okay, it is showing you all the IP associated with the NIC. Okay, so we have one loopback address, we have one H0 address, then we have a Docker 0 because we have Docker engine installed on that. So it creates a separate Docker 0. And then there is one more broadcast address over here. Now it has along with all the commands, so you can check this out from the man. Now there is, if you want to find out a bottleneck in a particular network path, right? So you use the command mtr. So mtr google.com. Okay, so now it will show you when you type google.com, what are the different hosts that it traverses the traffic with, right? So started with this, then went to this address, this address, this address, this address, this address. If it would have been failed, it will show you where it got failed. Okay, so it's like a trace route. Okay, so from this address to google.com, and these are all the hops that it took in between. Okay, and you will see like wherever the connection will be failed or whenever there is an error, you will see the loss percentage increased at that step. So you will know where it is actually failing in the network path. So let's say if I want to send some pings for every 10 seconds. So this is what I'll do. Okay. So it starts over here and then it says ping this server 10 times. Send 10 pings per hop. And then it will basically generate a report out of it. Okay. So it says it did, and there were like everything reached to its destination. There is zero loss percentage. And yeah, over here it lost everything because this destination does not exist. So all the packets got lost over here. Then if you want to see the actual network packet, okay, so let's say there is an issue with your client to server communication. Okay, and you need to find if the packet is getting sent or not, if it's not received. So we do that with the help of TCP dump command. So we are using TCP dump hyphen I at 0 port number, and then basically we are saying that capture only 20 packets. Okay, so it will capture the packets on this particular port and on this particular network interface. Okay, and it will generate the packets for you, and then you can later analyze the packet. And advanced homework for you would be take a TCP dump and then analyze is using tools such as Wireshark. There will be a tool called Wireshark. Okay, Download this tool. This is free open source tool. Download this tool and try to analyze the TCP dump. You will learn a lot of things about TCP packets and how do we actually do the troubleshooting in real time in the production environment. The next command is nmap. Nmap is used what ports are actually opened. Okay, so there is example given as well, and there are a lot of details. So I'm just gonna run the command. Let's say nmap localhost. Okay, it says host is up, other address for localhost no scan ::1 is again it's the different name for localhost. And then it says open ports are 22 and STTP on port 80. So these two ports are open on this particular server. Okay, the next command is my ID. Who am I? Okay, so if I do ID, it will show you I have been logged in as a root user, which is part of the group root. Okay, and there are 0 groups inside that. That's the group ID. 0 is the group ID over here. Now, if I do who am I, it will show you my username using which I'm logged in to the server. Now let's say if I want to check a particular ID, let's say ID 𝗵𝗀𝗃. Okay, it will show you the details about this particular ID. So 𝗵𝗃 is the user ID is 1002, group ID is 1002, and it's part of the group DevOps team. Okay, which is 1005. Actually, he's part of two teams. One is 𝗵𝗃, which is 1002, and another group which is DevOps team, which is 1005. Now let's say we need to add this user to another group as well. Okay, so what we used to do, you can use the command user mode. User mode is to modify the user. User modify -ag, that means add to the group. A is small, G is capital, add to the group, and the name of the group, which is staging-access, and then name of the user, which is 𝗵𝗃. Now the user will be added to that, and if I run the command again, ID 𝗵𝗃, you will see another group added. The user is added to another group, which is staging-access. Okay, now let's say you need to modify a group. So again, like user mod, you can use group mod. Okay, -n and the name of the group, which is, let's say, SRE-team and DevOps team. Okay, so the group has been modified now. Now the next is chmod command, which is change or modify the permission of a file or a directory. Right, so for that, let's say you have a file called cd-opt my app, and inside that config. Okay, so over here we have a file app.env. Now over here you see different permissions. So what are these? rw, and there is a blank, then r, 2 blank spaces, r, 2 blank spaces. So it's actually it will take time if I just explain it now. For now, I'm just going to explain it on a high level. So every file will have these 3 type of permissions, which is RWX: read, write, and execute. Okay, and the first 3 sections is for user. The next 3 section is for group, and the next 3 section is for others. Okay, so the user from which the file has been created, let's say root. So root user has the permission to read and write, but the root user cannot execute the file. And then the group that from which the file is created, that group will have only the read permission. It will not even have the write permission if I'll be logged into some other user of the same group. And the same way others. Now if I have to change the permission, what I need to use the command chmod. Okay, and let's say I need to just give read permissions to the user as well. So what I'll do is, or execute permission to the user. So what I'll do is 600. Now where this number come from? So this r is 4 in the numeric terms, and w is 2. So 4 plus 2, 6. Okay, and then for the rest I'm giving 00. So 00 chmod this app.env. If I do that, now the permission has changed. Now the read only permission has been removed, 600. Now if I want to give execute permission as well to this, so what I'll do is I will do, instead of 600 I will give 700. So that means the last part x is equivalent to 1. So 4 to 1 read write execute. Okay, like this. So if I do ls now it will have read write execute, and because it has execute permission, now it is coming as green. The color also get changed. And if I want to change the user as well of the file, so I'll use chown, ch on, change the owner. Okay, and change the owner. Let's say I want to change from root to sre team. Okay, and which file? This particular file app.env. And if I do ls now, you will see it has been changed to sre team as the owner of the file. Okay, now the next is how do we harden the security of sshd. So if we run this command, what it is doing, it is doing a grep inside this sshd config. It is doing a grep of these two fields inside sshd config, and it is checking the current value of it. Okay, so it is saying password authentication, it is commented out. Password with root login is yes. So if you want to make any changes so that you need to tighten the security, you can just do password authentication as no. That means only SSH keys are allowed to be logged into the server, and permit root login as no, so that root login cannot be done if you want to do that. And then you need to restart the service, restart the SSHD service. That's how you will harden the security. So SSHD is the command for that. Okay, now you need to provide the absolute path and everything. I'm not executing it right now. Next is IP tables. IP tables is the host level firewall. It's firewall at the Linux level. So if you do this, it will show you what all firewall rules are already applied to the server. These are the default rule. You know, the source, destination, on which port. For let's say these two ports are open, port 22 and port 80 and port 443, right? So we are saying that we are allowed to accept the traffic on these ports from any source, from any destination. Okay, and rest of the ports does not have the target as accept. You see, these will be dropped, and these, like, few are the internal connections, and then there is this connection which is for Docker. Yeah, so that's how you can check for the firewall. Okay, so next is pkill, which is used to kill the process by its name instead of PID. Okay, so earlier we see kill -n and then killed it with the PID. If you don't know the ID, you can kill it by the name. Okay, so pkill and the name of the process will be killed. Okay, then we have nice command. So nice command is actually you use it to set the priority of the process. Okay, so let's say when your server is starving with the resources, the higher priority processes will be scheduled first. So with nice and I think renice, you can change the priority. Okay, so you set it with -n and the priority, which is, let's say, 10. So default priority is 0 for any process, and it goes from 19 to -20. So -20 is the highest priority. It's weird, but this is how it is. And you can change, and you can just add the, let's say, the process ID or the name of the command, and it will change the process priority. Then if you want to check what all files are opened by a process, so you can use lsoff. It will tell you everything about the process. So lsoff, say -i:80. So like all the users that have acquired lock on that particular port, all the processes, it will show you everything about it. Okay, and if I want to check for any particular process ID, so lsoff, and let's say hyphen p, and process ID, if I were to check, let's say any of these, okay, it will tell you everything about that process, all the files that have been opened by that process. So there are these library files, and then there are error log files, access log files, everything about that process it will tell you with the ls of command. Now if you see, there is a process that is not running properly, but error log does not print anything. So then you can use strace command. It will show you exactly where your process is spending its time on. Okay, so it shows trace with the process ID, let's say 1234, and hyphen e trace is equal to open, read, and write. These are the operations that a process can do. Okay, currently there is no such process, so it won't show you anything. But yeah, let's run that tail hyphen f var log my app.log, and then I'm gonna just run it in the background. Okay, and this is the process ID. So I'll just copy that and I'll just use that in the trace. It will show you all the information. Okay, so if I do tar hyphen czf, so C is create an archive. So C is for compress, Z is for zzip archive, and F is for file name. We need to provide the file name. Okay, so if I do this, it says only require an argument file name. So let's provide a file name, which is var. Okay, let's create a file over here, touch A, and let's create the tar of it. We need to provide a dot tar dot zz, no, zz dot tar dot zz, and then the file name. Okay, so if I check in this folder, it has created an archive of it. Okay, now if I want to unarchive it, okay, so first let's remove a, and now to unarchive it we can use tar, same command but with different options. Now this time, instead of compress, we will extract it. So x zf, okay, and the file name was a dot tar dot cz. Okay, now you'll see a is back again over here. Okay, now there are a few more commands, but most of them we have already covered. Okay, let's go back again. Okay, now the next is cron tab. So cron tab is something that is a scheduler in Linux. Okay, so when we want to execute something at a particular time, at a particular day, we use it to create an entry in cron tab. Okay, so if we want to check the cron tab, you can use cron tab hyphen e. Okay, now let's say I want to check the VM editor. So I'm just gonna go with two options. Okay, now there is this entry in the cron tab which says 0 to ****, meaning execute this script, which is a backup script, at what time? We need to execute it every day at 2 a.m. Okay, and there are different options of it. So right, and there is, like, if you can just go to cron tab syntax, this will show you what it will have, like all the things, right? So these all ****, what does it represents? So if you want to run hourly, you can just do 0 ****. If you want to run daily, actually there used to be a good example. So this is the cron tab generator, but there was, I think, if I do cron tab syntax Wikipedia page, let's go over here. Yeah, so this is what you need to understand. So there are 5 asterisk. First is for minute, second is for hour, third is for day of the month, then month, and then day of the week. And once you understand this, it will be easier for you to understand this syntax of cron tab. Okay. Now, if you want to edit it, you can just do cron tab -l. Oh, sorry. That's the other way around. Cron tab -e put you in the edit mode. L is just the list mode, but all cron tabs are active right now. Then the next command we have is lsblk. It will show you the disk partition related details, right? So there is this disk. This disk has these 4 partitions, and these 4 partition has these mount points. What are their sizes? Their and then we have similarly we have fdisk. So fdisk -l. This will show you the details about. So this will list all the disk and the partitions. Okay. The next is ldd command. So if I do ldd user bin nginx, let's say which nginx user as bin. Okay, so if I run the command again with user as bin nginx, it will show you all the libraries associated with that utility. Okay, so library related details it will show you here. If there are any missing dependency, it will show you that as well, that this particular utility has a missing dependency. And then we have chroot command. Chroot mount recovery. If I run this on bin bash, okay, it will change the root directory to something else. Currently, like I don't think I'll be able to do that because this is the default binary directory for this, but you can do this for another utility that you have installed. So chroot is the command that we use for that. All right, I think we have spent a lot of time already, but I hope this was helpful to you. And I will share a cheat sheet for all the commands that we have practiced with all the um, with everything, so that you can also do all by yourself. Link will be there in the description section, so check it out and make sure you do the hands-on or everything that we have learned today. I hope this was a good learning experience. I will see you soon with the next video. If you want to create any dedicated Linux specific video, let me know in the comments and I will see you then. Thank you so much. Have a good day. Happy learning.